We recently had some shockingly good news come out of Californian state politics with a surprise endorsement of Kevin De Leon over Dianne Feinstein. As KQED News reports, the Californian Democratic Party has voted to endorse De Leon over Feinstein by a gigantic landslide margin. So she only actually received 7% of the vote to endorse, with 22 votes in total, and De Leon received 65% with 217 votes, and 29% of total votes opted for no endorsement at all. So this is actually a surprisingly bold move by the Californian Democratic Party. It really is. Now, personally, will I say that I'm still disappointed that Allison Hartson or David Hildebrand lost? Yes. It really honestly took me a while to get over those individuals because I think that they were unapologetically progressive. But with that being said, if I lived in the state of California, would I vote for Kevin De Leon over Dianne Feinstein? Yes. Enthusiastically so, I would. Even though Kevin De Leon does take corporate PAC money and is willing to play nice with the establishment, he does support policies like Medicare for All, and he actually promised to co-sponsor Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill if he does get elected. And he also supports policies like tuition-free public college. So there's an abundance of reasons to suggest that he's much better than Dianne Feinstein. He's not necessarily a Bernie-crat. I mean, kind of, you can make the case, but he's more of a Democrat like Elizabeth Warren. So he's not on Bernie's level, but he's certainly not on Dianne Feinstein's level. And she's just a right-wing Democrat. I don't think you can describe her as anything other than a right-wing Democrat. Throughout her career, she's been a right-winger. She's essentially been a Republican, and she comes from a progressive state. So I don't get why Californians have accepted this conservative as their state senator for so long. But if you voted for Kevin De Leon, even if you wanted Allison Hartson or David Hildebrand to win, that's a reasonable vote. It's the practical thing to do to get rid of this establishment Democrat that isn't serving anyone but herself. Now, here's the thing. Even though De Leon now has the party's endorsement, Dianne Feinstein still has the advantage because, one, she has more name recognition, and she's also outspending him by a significant margin. So she's raised nearly $15 million to Kevin De Leon's $1.1 million, which is gigantic. So, I mean, I can't in good faith tell you to donate your hard-earned cash to someone like Kevin De Leon, who takes corporate PAC money, because my argument has always been, look, if you're going to raise money from large multinational corporations, bug them for money, don't bug us for money. Because I can't be guaranteed that you'll represent us. I can't be guaranteed that you won't betray us if you're elected. But I will say that I think it's important that we lean on him in order to defeat Dianne Feinstein, and that means maybe if you live in California, doing some canvassing or phone banking for Kevin De Leon, because even if he's not perfect, he's certainly better than Dianne Feinstein. He's more progressive-ish. He's someone who I look at as a potential ally, someone who we could put pressure on that might cave in the event we needed him to support a particular policy. Whereas Dianne Feinstein, let's say hypothetically speaking, Bernie Sanders becomes president, Democrats get a supermajority in the House and the Senate. She'd be someone that probably wouldn't budge in the event Medicare for All came up for a vote. Kevin De Leon, however, knows he'd have to support that. And I think he would be more willing to listen to us than someone like her. So this really is a bold move, and I do want to give the Californian Democratic Party credit where it's due, because voting to endorse someone who isn't necessarily an outsider but isn't the establishment's preferred choice, that's pretty big. So it shows that the party in California at least knows or has some inkling of the direction they should be headed in. So that gives me some hope. And again, I get if you're still disappointed that it's Kevin De Leon that's facing her in the runoff and not someone like Allison Hartson or David Hildebrand. I hear you 100%. But still, I think that if we got rid of Feinstein in favor of De Leon, that'd still be a pretty progressive gain. And given just how far right the party has become, Senate Democrats that is, he would probably be one of the most progressive Democrats in the Senate. Now, I get that the bar for that is pretty low, but it's still important that we improve our odds of getting progressive policy codified into law by getting someone who's measurably more progressive on most issues than Dianne Feinstein, who's just straight up a right-wing Democrat. She has signaled to us that she's, going to be a little bit more open about issues like marijuana legalization, but come on. We all know she's just doing this to compete with the challenge she's faced from the left. So don't go with the fake progressive like Dianne Feinstein. Go with someone who is more progressive than her. I guess you could say Kevin De Leon is a progressive. He's not as progressive as someone like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but he's better than Feinstein. And if I were in California, I'd vote for him over her for sure.
Support this podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Report.